Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are tackling something absolutely massive, literally the birth of the cosmos. But we're going to look at it through a really unique dual lens. We'll be mapping out the incredible intersections and the boundaries between ancient Sanatan wisdom and modern scientific cosmology, exactly as they're laid out in the first volume of the Sanatan Cosmos. It's a wild journey that takes us all the way from ancient Sanskrit texts straight to modern astrophysics.
Let's kick things off by anchoring ourselves right here, in the most fundamental and wonder-filled question humanity has ever managed to ask. Before we even touch on the Big Bang or dive into ancient philosophy, we really have to recognize just how profound it is to simply stop and ask, where did all this come from? It's amazing when you think about it. You've got a child staring up at the night sky in total awe, a scientist squinting through a massive telescope, and a yogi sitting in deep meditation. All three of them are beautifully converging on this single, sacred inquiry. All three approaches are completely valid, and somewhere right in the middle of that meeting place of wonder, observation, and silence, the great question of creation truly begins.
So, how do we even begin approaching a mystery like this? We're talking about a literal time before time.
Well, check out this line from the ancient Nasadiya Sukta of the Rig Veda. It says, "Then there was not what we call non-being, nor what we call being." I absolutely love this because it so brilliantly illustrates the philosophical humility of the ancient rishis. It proves that a truly sacred mind doesn't fear the unknown. They weren't trying to force a neat, tidy answer. They openly admitted that the very beginning is just beyond the ordinary categories of the human mind.
And you know what's fascinating? That ancient humility mirrors exactly what we see in science today. Modern cosmology traces the hot, early universe back about 13.8 billion years. NASA describes this incredibly early period of rapid inflation. Yet science also honestly admits that what came before that earliest known phase, or what actually powered it, is uncertain. The scientific mind and the ancient mind share this beautiful honesty. The origin is, at its core, deeply mysterious.
Now, to really grasp how science and spirituality investigate this mystery differently, let's think about a movie theater. Specifically, the screen behind the movie.
Think of it like this. Science is basically studying the movie scenes, right? It looks at the light, the sound, the timing, and the structure of the physical universe playing out. But spiritual inquiry, it asks a completely different question. What is the screen on which this whole movie is appearing? The screen doesn't burn when there's an explosion in the movie, and it doesn't get wet when it rains on film. It is the silent, unaffected support for all those observable physical processes.
In Vedantic thought, that screen is referred to as Brahman. It's defined as truth, knowledge, and infinity. Now, it's absolutely vital to understand that the source text doesn't describe this as some person sitting up in the clouds. Not at all. It's the limitless ground of being itself. Think of it as this invisible, indivisible ocean from which every single wave of the universe rises.
The Chandogya Upanishad nails this concept down perfectly. Dear one, before this world appeared, being alone was one without a second. The crucial takeaway here is that creation isn't a manufactured object put together by a cosmic carpenter. It's an appearance arising out of this indivisible unity. Just like an ocean appears as many different waves, the ultimate reality appears as the many forms of the universe without ever actually being separated from them.
All right, let's flip the script a bit and look at the physical universe through the lens of modern science. Let's look at equations as cosmic lamps, illuminating the order of creation. But before we dive into the math, we absolutely have to set a truth boundary. The source material is crystal clear on this rule. A poetic symbol from an ancient text should never be forced into a modern scientific claim without proof. We are absolutely not saying ancient texts are secret physics textbooks. Instead, we're using equations alongside ancient wisdom, giving each their mutual respect without falsely blurring the lines.
Let's apply this truth boundary to some formulas we've all probably seen. First up, distance equals the speed of light times time. The simple meaning? Light is a messenger. When we look at the stars, we're literally looking deep into the past. But notice the truth boundary here. It explains light travel perfectly, but it doesn't explain why existence exists. Then you have E equals mc squared, showing matter and energy are deeply connected. But again, it explains measurable physics, not spiritual concepts like Shakti. Next is gravity, where massive bodies attract each other. It explains physical force brilliantly, but it doesn't explain consciousness. And finally, Hubble's law, showing the universe is expanding like dots on a balloon. It explains cosmic expansion, but not that very first instant of creation. These formulas are pure genius, but they operate within their specific physical limits.
And building right on that, modern cosmology uses advanced expansion equations, like the Friedmann equation, to model the universe. But even here, science points to huge mysteries like dark energy to explain why that expansion is actually accelerating. Science still freely admits that dark energy isn't fully understood. And honestly, that keeps the scientific mind wonderfully honest, which perfectly aligns with the spirit of those ancient questioners we talked about at the beginning.
So how does the Sanatan framework actually map out this unfolding of the universe? It breaks it down into 3 distinct levels of creation.
Step 1 is causal creation. This is known as the golden womb, or the unmanifest seed. It's the deepest sleeping possibility of everything. Then, step 2 expands into subtle creation. This is the world of mind, thought, desire, and meaning. Think about it. You can't weigh a thought on a scale, but a thought can absolutely change the world. Finally, step 3 is physical creation. This is the measurable universe of matter, energy, and galaxies that modern science studies so powerfully.
And to wrap that entire cosmic cycle into one single concept, the Upanishadic tradition uses the sacred sound symbol Om. It acts as a symbol for the totality of reality. It actually breaks down into a miniature universe all its own. The beginning of the sound is creation, the expansion of the sound is sustenance, the closing is dissolution, and finally there is the silence that remains after. It beautifully mirrors the entire universe appearing from silence and eventually returning back to it.
Okay, so we've been talking on a massively cosmic scale, but why does the beginning actually matter to us in our everyday lives?
Seriously, why should we care about things that happened 13.8 billion years ago? The answer from the source material is profound. Your idea of the universe directly shapes your idea of yourself. If you view the universe as sacred, you naturally treat your own life with reverence, rather than feeling like some random cosmic accident. Discovering that consciousness might be the very ground of reality gives you immense courage. You start to realize that every single morning, every breath, and every act of learning is a mini creation all its own. The cosmos isn't just out there floating in space, it's happening inside you right now.
There's this fantastic story in the source material to illustrate this perfectly. A child, an astronomer, and a sage are all standing together looking up at the stars. The astronomer explains that the light hitting their eyes is centuries old, essentially turning the sky into a giant time machine. The sage chimes in and adds that without the child's awareness to see it, those stars wouldn't be known at all. And the child realizes something amazing. Knowing the cold, hard scientific facts didn't make the sky any less magical. It actually made it way more profound. Because a fact is not the enemy of mystery. A fact is simply a lamp placed inside mystery.
Which brings us right to the end of our explainer. We started this whole journey by asking where the universe came from, but I want to leave you with this. If the universe was born from mystery, what mystery is waiting to be born through you? It's a provocative thought, isn't it? It completely flips the perspective, inviting you to realize that the universe is actively awakening through your very own awareness. Thanks for exploring this with us, and whatever you do, keep wondering.